The day my mother passed away, I put on a white dress to mourn her. 7-year-old Shen Ao rushed at me, slashing the hem of my dress with sharp scissors and dousing me with a full bucket of cheap red paint. Today is my mother's birthday. Who are you trying to upset with that gloomy outfit? She hated white. He was truly his father's son. They both favored the same woman. My skin broke out in a dense rash from an allergic reaction. Blood and paint mixed together, and the cuts on my legs stung and itched. Shen Ao sneered triumphantly. Don't think you're the mistress of this house just because you married my dad. That position will always belong to my mother. You shameless homewrecker. Don't even dream of me ever acknowledging you. Looking at this child, who carried my blood but had crawled out of another woman's womb, I suddenly felt exhausted. It seemed blood ties meant nothing, and 7 years of raising him couldn't warm a cold heart. You don't have to acknowledge me, because I'm leaving. The acrid smell of paint covered my face and body, and the stinging itch made me frown. Shen Ao snorted. Serves you right, I hope your face rots off. You scheming bitch, you think getting plastic surgery to look like my mom and having people say we look alike can replace her. Dream on. His eyes were red with rage, as if he had suffered some great humiliation. I had seen this scene many times. Whenever someone mentioned that Shen Ao's face didn't much resemble his late mother's, but was instead growing to look more like mine, he would fly into a rage. In the past, I would always comfort him, telling him he was the son of the former Mrs. Shen, and that he only looked like me because we spent so much time together. But today I was in no mood. I was tired. I frowned slightly. Who said I had plastic surgery? You sleep with your mother's photograph every night. Shen Ao, you know better than anyone whether she and I look alike. If you don't believe me, we can have a doctor verify it. Are you sure you really want to hear the truth? Shen Ao froze for a moment. When he processed my words, his face flushed crimson. He shot me a fierce glare and ran off. I sighed and returned to my room, where the maid had already drawn a bath for me. The moment I stepped in, the cuts on my legs from the scissors erupted in excruciating pain, and the skin elsewhere burned. I scrambled out of the tub, but my foot slipped, and I fell hard to the floor, my knee instantly turning a deep shade of purple. Shen Ao bounced in, laughing mockingly. Idiot, how does a bath in salt water and chili juice feel? It's a token of my filial piety. Aren't you touched? You're enjoying everything that should have been my mother's, so you have to pay the price. He shot me a look of disgust, then dismissed the maid before leaving, forbidding her to help me up. I lay there wretchedly on the floor, watching my blood stain the water red, speechless for a long time. I had bled just as much the year they took my eggs. Later, one of those eggs was combined with the sperm of the CEO of the Shen Corporation, becoming an IVF baby that was placed in the womb of Mrs. Shen, who was born without ovaries. And then the baby who shared half my blood was born, a boy named Shen Ao. The Shen family's Shen Ao, Mrs. Shen's Shen Ao, the Shen Ao who hated me to the bone. After washing myself clean again, I walked out of the bathroom and saw Shen Ziyi sitting on the sofa. If Shen Ao's features resembled mine, then the air of noble, unassailable arrogance about him was inherited entirely from the man before me. He glanced at the rash on my body and said flatly, Zio Ao was a bit naughty this time. I've brought you allergy medicine. Take it and don't let it affect tonight's banquet. Even though his first wife was dead, Shen Ziyi still held a grand banquet at the Shen residence on her birthday every year. He wouldn't let anyone forget his beloved. All these years in the Shen household, I had been cautious and timid, always obeying his words instinctively. Just as I swallowed the medicine, the servants behind Shen Ziyi half forced me down onto the sofa, restraining my hands and feet. 2 men in masks took out spice cups and tattoo needles, and without hesitation, pierced the wounds on my leg. The pain made my face turn deathly pale. Shen Ziyi looked down at me from above. Zio Ao may have been naughty, but you were even more wrong to deliberately wear a color Wanwen disliked on her birthday. I've told you, nothing Wanwen dislikes is allowed in this house. When you do something wrong, you must accept the punishment. An hour later, the wound had been transformed into a brilliant crimson rose, with beads of fresh blood still glistening at its center. It was Yiwan's favorite flower and color, and she had the same tattoo on her leg. Seeing my pale face, Shen Ziyi's expression softened. He dismissed the others. He knelt on one knee and gently kissed the rose, his lips traveling upward, tinged with desire. Remember to change into Wanwen's favorite red dress tonight. As long as you behave, I might consider giving you one of your eggs back. But you are never to do what you did today and almost let Zio Ao know the truth. Xiao Ao belongs only to Wanwen. No one can take her son from her. Shen Ziaji had always been confident in his abilities and his body. So on the first day I entered the Shen household, he had all my eggs removed. Only a child that comes from Wanwen's womb is my child. I let you raise Xiao Ao because it was Wanwen's dying wish. She wouldn't have trusted anyone else. But you are absolutely forbidden from having any foolish ideas. His lips were about to reach the top of my thigh. I didn't remain pliant as I usually did. Instead, I pushed him away. Mr. Shen, I will not wear the red dress, nor will I attend the banquet. My adoptive mother passed away today. Our contract is automatically void. I'm leaving. As the words left my mouth, the desire in Shen Ziaji's eyes vanished completely. He stood up, his face darkening. She was just an adoptive mother with no blood relation. If she's dead, she's dead. Are you going to wear mourning clothes for an outsider? Don't forget your current status. The Shen family can't afford such embarrassment. Although Shen Ao wasn't born from your womb, he has half your blood and genes. You've raised him for 7 years, and now you want to just walk away? Yi Fangxing, you are far too selfish. Hearing him mention my status, I felt a momentary confusion. What was my identity? The Yi family's shameful bastard, the nanny Shen Ziaji hired to raise his son, or the disgusting homewrecker Shen Ao called me. Back then, Shen Ziaji and my half-sister were the perfect couple, the envy of the capital's elite circle. Even the Yi family's status rose with them, becoming a prominent name among the wealthy and influential. Perhaps their love was so sweet that even the heavens grew jealous. Yi Wan was born without ovaries and couldn't have children, but she loved children so much and was unwilling to use a stranger's eggs. Her younger sister was too young, so they came to me, desperate for money. 1 million yuan paid for my adoptive mother's surgery, and it also took away my first child. Later, Yi Wan died unexpectedly. Before she passed, she worried that Shen Ao would have no one to care for him and wished for me to raise him. The Yi family was initially reluctant, but they were even more reluctant to let Shen Ziaji marry a daughter from another prominent family, which would affect their family's interests. So they gave me back the Yi surname and sent me to the Shen family. Shen Ziaji followed Yi Wan's words to the letter, so we made a contract. I would raise Shen Ao with all my heart so Yi Wan could rest in peace. In return, they would cover all of my adoptive mother's medical and treatment expenses. I was dragged to the Civil Affairs Bureau for a hasty registration. There was no ring, no wedding. For 7 years, I had only a husband who didn't love me and a child who saw me as an enemy. I said quietly, I came to the Shen family only to save my adoptive mother. We each got what we wanted. Now that she has passed away, there is no reason for me to stay. Besides, Shen Ao doesn't like me. If I continue to stay, it will only make him unhappier, which is not good for the mental and emotional development of the future heir of the Shen family. Hearing that I was thinking of Shen Ao, Shen Ziaji's expression softened for a rare moment. If you're worried that Xiao Ao isn't close to you and you'll have no one to rely on in the future, I can give you an egg back, and we can have another child. Although I won't allow this child to take the Shen surname, when he grows up, I can arrange a position for him in the company. The compensation will certainly be good, and you. I cut him off coolly, producing the signed divorce agreement. Thank you for your kind offer, Mr. Shen, but it won't be necessary. Please sign. Over the years, because of my status and the attitude of the Shen father and son, I had endured enough scorn and ridicule from outsiders. To have another child who wouldn't be acknowledged by the Shen family would be a true act of self-humiliation. Shen Ziaji completely lost his patience and tore the agreement to shreds. Yi Fangxing, it seems you've had it too easy for too long and are deliberately looking for trouble. Since you're unwilling to wear those dresses, you don't need to attend the banquet tonight. I won't have you ruining the party I'm throwing for Wanwen. For the mistress of the Shen family, to be barred from a banquet held in her own home was a great humiliation. But I didn't care. By the time the banquet ended, it was late at night. A wave of cheerful laughter came from outside. I opened the door and saw Shen Ziaji and Shen Ao holding Yi Lingyu's hand as they walked into the bedroom at the end of the hall. 7 years had passed in a flash. The Yi family's youngest daughter had finally grown up, and she looked more and more like Yi Wan. That bedroom had once belonged exclusively to Shen Ziaji and Yi Wan. I was once punished for accidentally entering it by being forced to kneel in the snow for 3 days, which nearly crippled my legs. At that time, I lay in a hospital bed, my knees festering and oozing pus, my body curled in pain. Shen Ziaji came to see me. I thought he had softened, but he said coldly, "It's good that you know pain. When your legs hurt, you won't go where you're not supposed to." Now Yi Lingyu, with her face so similar to Yuan's, had moved in with ease. The servants looked at me with contempt, whispering among themselves. Some people, even after scheming their way into the Shen family, still can't win the favor of Mr. Shen and the young master, can't even enter a bedroom in her own house. It's a joke. Of course, Mr. Shen only has eyes for the former Mrs. Shen. Some people are just nannies married to raise the child. Now that the Yi family's youngest daughter is grown up and looks so much like the former Mrs. Shen, how could Mr. Shen not be moved? Looks like we're getting a new mistress. I ignored their taunts and was about to turn away when a metal dart flew towards my face. It grazed my cheek, the sharp edge breaking the skin. A warm trickle of blood ran down. Shen Ao toyed with the remaining darts in his hand and made a face at me. "I hate seeing your face. Sooner or later, I'm going to disfigure you. My auntie said bad women deserve to be ugly." I suddenly remembered when Shen Ao was 3 and had a cold and fever. I stayed up for 2 days and nights without eating or sleeping to take care of him. When his fever finally broke, I was disheveled, with dark circles under my eyes as black as ink, looking like a ghost from a horror movie. But he had wrapped his arms around my neck and said in his milky voice, "Auntie is the prettiest, prettier than a fairy." Later, as Yi Lingyu grew up, she started visiting Shen Ao often. It was from then on that he began to hate me more and more. I picked up the dart and aimed it at Shen Ao, my voice calm. "Shen Ao, have I not taught you what consequences you must bear when you hurt others?" Shen Ao knew my aim was true. A girl who grew up in the countryside, I had practiced throwing stones at birds and never missed. A flicker of fear crossed his young face, but he still shouted defiantly, "Don't try to scare me. You seduced my dad and drove my mom to her death. You took my mom's place, and I'm going to get revenge for her. I'm not afraid of you. Go ahead, kill me today. If you don't, it's a dart this time, but next time I'll throw acid." With that, he quickly ducked into the bedroom and slammed the door shut. My hand remained suspended in the air for a long time before I finally gave a bitter smile and tossed the dart into a nearby trash can. It was a birthday present I had made for him myself. I never thought it would end up being used on me. Back in my room, I packed my things into a suitcase. Throughout the night, the sound of laughter from the 3 of them echoed from the bedroom at the end of the hall. The next morning, as soon as I stepped out, I saw Yi Lingyu and Shen Ao playing shuttlecock in the distance. Shen Ao, his face flushed, threw himself into Yi Lingyu's arms, whining, "Auntie, I like you. You look like my mom, and you can play the piano pieces she composed. You're so much better than some hypocritical loser. Seeing you as like my mom is still alive. Will you marry my dad? I want him to divorce that scheming bitch who can't even lay an egg. I want you to be my mom." Yi Lingyu wiped the sweat from Shen Ao's forehead and said gently, "Xiao Ao, you shouldn't talk about others like that. If your father is willing, of course I can be your mother. My sister's spirit in heaven would be very happy." She then pretended to have just noticed me and said apologetically, "Miss Yi, Xiao Ao is still young and speaks his mind. Please don't take it to heart." Even though we shared the same birth mother, Yi Lingyu had never called me sister. Shen Ao glared at me, then pulled Yi Lingyu towards the study, probably to ask Shen Ziaji to divorce me. That suited me just fine. As I was about to leave, my arm was grabbed. My nominal brother, Yi Jinhui, started with an accusation. "What kind of Mrs. Shen are you? Can't even keep your man's heart. You actually let Lingyu and Mr. Shen be alone together. It's a good thing Xiao Ao was there last night. Mr. Shen only has Wanwen in his heart. Lingyu looks so much like Wanwen. What if she catches his eye? I will never let my sister become a substitute. I'm your sister too. Why are you willing to let me stay with a man who doesn't have me in his heart?" Yi Jinhui frowned and blurted out, "How can that be the same? Even if Lingyu never marries, I can provide for her. If you leave the Shen family, you'll be nothing." So that was it. He couldn't bear for Yi Lingyu to be a substitute, but he was also unwilling to give up the benefits the Shen family could provide. So I could be sacrificed. Seeing my silence, Yi Jinhui tried to reason with me. "Fengxing, I heard about your adoptive mother, but you carry our family's future on your shoulders. The South District Development Project is about to be approved. If you walk out on us now, what if Mr. Shen cuts us out of the deal? Besides, Shen Ao is your child too. Can you bear to just abandon him? You can't be so selfish." I smiled. "You forgot my surname isn't Yi. You bestowed that name upon me as charity. Now I'm giving it back." Since Yi Lingyu is all grown up, it's time for someone else to carry this burden for the Yi family. I've carried it for 7 years. If you want the benefits, you have to pay the price, don't you? My words enraged Yi Jinhui, and he slapped me across the face. A bastard truly has no conscience. I should have listened to Mom back then and left you in the snow to freeze to death, you ungrateful thing. My birth mother was Mrs. Yi, but my birth father was just an anonymous male model who sold his body in a club. Back then, to get revenge on her husband for having affairs, Mrs. Yi had a one-night stand with a random model, and unexpectedly, I was conceived. The doctor said her constitution wouldn't allow for an abortion, or she might never be able to conceive again. She hid her pregnancy and gave birth to me. The moment I was born, she told Yi Jinhui, the only one who knew, to leave me in the snow to freeze to death. The young Yi Jinhui was terrified and didn't dare to take a life, so he left me on my adoptive mother's doorstep. And so, my adoptive mother and I depended on each other for 20 years, until Yi Jinhui found me again and asked me to donate my eggs for Yiwan. In his mind, if it weren't for him, I would have died long ago. Any sacrifice I made for the Yi family was what I owed them. I wiped the blood from the corner of my mouth and looked straight at him. Your moment of fear back then cost me 7 years of freedom and all my eggs. I can never have my own children again. My debt to you has been repaid. Remembering what Yi Lingyu had just said, I reminded him, instead of tangling with me here, you should go ask your dear sister Yi Lingyu. Perhaps she's more than willing to be that substitute. As if struck by a thought, Yi Jinhui shot me an angry look and hurried towards the study. Familiar footsteps approached from behind. Shen Ziyi suddenly appeared before me. I don't know when he had come out. The bodyguards behind him were carrying several large boxes. Shen Ziyi glanced down at my suitcase, his tone indifferent. Still angry with Xiao Ao? He's just a child. Besides, you were the one at fault yesterday. Don't be willful. I've thought about it. Since you care so much about that adoptive mother, I'll accompany you to pay your respects. We can burn the offerings in these boxes for her. That should fulfill your filial duty. Just don't wear white again. Also, I've already agreed to let Xiao Ao call Lingyu Mama. She looks like Wanwen, and perhaps it can console Xiao Ao's longing for his mother. I almost laughed. In 7 years, Shen Ao had never called me Mama, and Shen Ziyi had let him be. Something I had dreamed of could be obtained so easily, just by having a face that resembled Yuan's. That won't be necessary. After I leave, I'll have no connection to the Shen family. My adoptive mother has even less to do with you, Mr. Shen. As for who Shen Ao calls Mama, that's no longer my concern. Just as Shen Ziyi was about to speak, Yi Lingyu ran over, holding a black and white photograph, her face pale. It was a photo of her, but her face and features were completely defaced with red lipstick, with a large character for death written across it. It looked terrifying. She seemed frightened and threw herself into Shen Ziyi's arms, sobbing. Brother-in-law, Xiao Ao and I were just looking for you. When we saw you weren't there, we thought you were in Miss Yi's room. We never expected to find this photo as soon as we went in. I really didn't think Miss Yi hated me so much. I just don't know if she hates me as a person or if she hates this face. After all, my sister and I look so much alike. Shen Ziyi's face turned completely black at her last sentence. Yi Fangxing, it seems I've been too lenient with you, which is why you make mistakes again and again. Neil, it's time for the family discipline. When it concerned his beloved late wife and her adored sister, he gave me no chance to explain. In his eyes, any explanation was just an excuse. The bodyguards forced me to my knees and pried open my hands. An iron rod with barbs struck my palms again and again, turning them into a bloody mess in just a few hits. Watch her, she is not to get up without my permission. Shen Ziyi threw out these cold words and left, holding Yi Lingyu's hand. The deep winter snow came without warning. The blood on my hands froze into ice. I smiled bitterly to myself. It seemed leaving was this difficult too. I don't know how much time passed. A thick layer of snow covered me, and I shivered from the cold. Shen Ao came running over, holding a tube of lipstick, and said playfully, "Cold, isn't it? Ha ha ha, Auntie's idea was great. Dad really got angry. Freeze to death, you bad woman." With him saying that, what was there left not to understand? I looked at him. Shen Ao, do you hate me that much? Shen Ao pouted. Of course. My auntie said you're a bastard. Just like your gigolo father, you love to destroy other people's families. My mother was driven to her death by you. Yi Lingyu opened a window and called for Shen Ao to come back for dinner. Coming, Mama Tilda. He ran happily into the house, not forgetting to turn back and say viciously, "If you know what's good for you, get lost. A malicious woman like you doesn't deserve my mother's place. Only someone kind like my auntie does." Watching his retreating back, I remembered the first time I saw Shenao. He was just a little bundle in swaddling clothes then. I held him, my heart filled with infinite tenderness. Even though he wasn't born from my womb, I loved him without reason. This was one of the reasons I had agreed when the Yi family wanted to send me here. My birth mother wanted me dead, my birth father didn't even know I existed, and my siblings saw me as a disgrace. But I never expected that my own child would hate me so much too. Shen Ziaji appeared. Seeing the blood on my hands and my fingertips, purple from the cold, he said slowly, "Get up. I hope this teaches you a lesson for good. I've had the private doctor wait for you in your room. Go get your injuries treated." I staggered to my feet, took out the divorce agreement again, and pressed my bloody fingerprint onto it. "Since I can leave now, Mr. Shen, please sign." Shen Ziaji was taken aback, anger flaring in his eyes. "You were jealous of Wanwen and did such a vicious thing, and I've already decided not to hold it against you. Are you still not done with this? Fine, I'll grant your wish. I'd like to see if you really have that much backbone, if you can really give up the life of a wealthy wife. Yi Fangxing, if you take one step out of the Shen family home today, don't ever think of coming back." He quickly signed his name and threw the agreement at my feet, then turned and left in a rage. I carefully picked up the piece of paper, looked at the bold, flourishing signature, and a smile of relief spread across my face. I was finally free. I picked up my suitcase and limped out of the Shen family's old mansion. From this day on, I would no longer be threatened by anyone, no longer have to live so cautiously. I hailed a taxi. The driver asked me where I was going. I thought for a moment. First to the funeral home and then to the airport. I collected my adoptive mother's ashes and then flew to Erhai Lake. The role-playing game was over. The surname Yi could be discarded. From today on, I was no longer Yi Fangxing, but Jai Fangxing. That was my adoptive mother's surname. My adoptive mother grew up in a small mountain village in the north. For me, a daughter with no blood relation to her, she never married. Her greatest wish was to see Erhai Lake. She loved its azure sky, its clear water, and its sweet air, even though she had only ever seen it on television. I had promised her that once she got better, I would bring her to Erhai. I would open a guest house for her there, where we could watch the sunrise and sunset, the clouds gather and disperse every day. Now that she was gone, I still had to fulfill my promise. There was one benefit to being with Shen Ziaji. My eye for investment had sharpened, so I had earned some money over the years, enough to open a guest house in Erhai. From now on, I wouldn't have to live under someone else's roof, cautiously and timidly. Here, I met many friends and peers. The most special one was probably Cheng Yi. I remember when my guest house was being renovated, he came over to introduce himself. "Hi, I'm Cheng Yi, the owner of the guest house across from you. I just opened recently too. We're neighbors now. If you need anything or have any questions, feel free to ask me anytime." Though he was about my age, he had a youthful air about him. When he smiled, he revealed 2 small canine teeth. After a few interactions, I could tell from his appearance and mannerisms that he wasn't an ordinary guest house owner. After so many years in the Shen family, my judgment was quite sharp. Cheng Yi told me quite frankly, "I'm what you might call a second-generation rich kid. I didn't like the marriage my family arranged for me, so I ran away from home and opened a guest house here. I originally just wanted to experience life, but after staying here for a while, I realized there's nothing happier than freely pursuing your own life. So I told my family I'm not going back. If they have the guts, they can disown me." His words amused me, but I also deeply agreed. Yes, nothing was more important than freedom. "What about you? Why did you come all this way to open a guest house?" I told him about my adoptive mother, without mentioning anything about the Shen family. After listening, Cheng Yi said with emotion, "Your adoptive mother never married for your sake. She must have loved you very much." I nodded silently. Yes, she did love me very much. In the days when I was abandoned by my birth mother, forgotten by my birth father, and hated by my siblings, she was the one who told me I was a treasure sent to her from heaven. When I felt inferior because people called me a bastard, she was the one who told me, "Our Fangxing is the best girl in the world." In my nearly 30 years of life, all the love I had ever received came from her. So I had to give her a home of our own in the place she loved most. Cheng Yi asked me again, "I heard you're married. "You're so outstanding and beautiful, how could your husband bear to let you come out here on your own?" To avoid unnecessary trouble, I had always told people I was married when they asked about my relationship status. In an instant, the faces of Shen Ziyaji and Shen Ao appeared in my mind. When I first entered the Shen family, I had a brief crush on Shen Ziyaji. He was Shen Ao's father, my legal husband. He was handsome and aloof, decisive and ruthless, as if born to command everyone's attention. But on countless nights when he returned from social engagements, he would vent his frustrations on me while whispering Yiwan's name. Then, when he was sober the next morning, he would tell me indifferently, "You are just the nanny helping Wanwen raise her child. Don't get any ideas you shouldn't have." He forbade me from touching Yiwan's things, from wearing colors Yiwan hated, from doing anything Yiwan disliked, or I would be punished. In my first year with the Shen family, my body was constantly covered in bruises. Through endless pain, I finally learned all of Yiwan's preferences, and I finally understood that no matter how long I stayed in the Shen family, no matter how hard I tried to please the father and son, I could never replace Yiwan. I withdrew that affection, became cautious and timid, and lived as if walking on thin ice. Time meant nothing, blood ties meant nothing. Yiwan was Shen Ziyaji's one true love, the perfect mother in Shen Ao's heart. They were willing to be close to Yi Lingyu, who looked like Yiwan, but they would never give me a second glance. I smiled, just an ex-husband. Time flew by. My guest house had been open for over half a year. I had the rose tattoo removed, and Cheng Yi and I had become very close. He would often leave his guest house to his staff and spend the whole day at mine, sometimes bringing over new dishes his chef had created, sometimes a bottle of rose wine he had brewed himself. Many times, guests thought our two guest houses were actually one. One early morning, I had just opened the door to my guest house when I saw two familiar figures, one large and one small. Shen Ziyaji still had that same cold demeanor. "Yi Fangxing, you've been away from home long enough. It's time to stop this nonsense and come back with us." Shen Ao took leave from school to come here. "His studies can't be delayed for too long. You need to go back and tutor him." I hadn't seen him in over half a year, but his appearance and aura hadn't changed at all. Still so proud and arrogant, so dismissive of everything, every word he spoke was a command. He glanced at the simply decorated guest house behind me and frowned slightly. "You left the Shen family so resolutely just to live in a place like this. After all these years with me, you still haven't improved. As long as you come back with me now, I can pretend the divorce never happened. If you feel bored staying at home and want to open a hotel for fun, I can arrange for people to find the best location and design team for you." This surprised me a little. The old Shen Ziyaji would never have allowed me to have my own career. "Your duty is to play the part of Mrs. Shen and raise Shen Ao well, so that Wanwen's spirit can rest in peace. Doing these useless things will only distract you. The Shen family hasn't fallen so far that we need our women to go out and show their faces." I looked at him calmly. "Mr. Shen, please don't joke. You and I have already signed the divorce agreement. We have no connection now. How can we pretend it never happened? The Shen family is a prestigious family in the capital's elite circle. I'm just a bastard. Someone with my status would only bring you shame. In comparison, Yi Lingyu is a much better fit for the position of Mrs. Shen. Shen Ao likes her too. You should go back." Hearing this, Shen Ziyaji frowned slightly and looked down at Shen Ao. "What did you promise me before we left? Speak." Shen Ao pursed his lips, stole a glance at me, then quickly looked away. He wrung his hands together, as if struggling with himself. After a long while, he pouted and said quickly, "I shouldn't have hurt you with the scissors, and I shouldn't have shot the dart at you, and I definitely shouldn't have called you a bastard. I'm sorry." Shen Ziyaji's frown deepened. "Who are you apologizing to? Address her properly." Shen Ao's face instantly turned beet red. He mumbled, "I'm sorry, Mom." After saying it, he quickly lowered his head, the tips of his ears so red they looked like they were about to bleed. Only then did Shen Ziyaji look at me, his expression a little unnatural. "Have you calmed down now? A divorce can be followed by a remarriage. We haven't had a wedding yet anyway. We can take this opportunity to have a grand one, invite all the elites of the capital. From then on, you will be my rightful wife, Shen Ziyaji's wife. No one will ever look down on you again, and Shen Ao will always call you Mom from now on. As for Lingyu, I've already investigated the matter with the photograph. I only see her as a child. I have no other intentions. You don't need to be jealous. I won't use the family discipline on you again. Come home." I stared at him, wide-eyed with shock. If I wasn't mistaken, was Shen Ziyaji explaining himself to me? The decisive, man of few words Shen Ziyaji, when had he ever explained himself to anyone? It wasn't that he couldn't, but rather that he disdained to. Shen Ziyaji, your words might have worked on the old Yi Fangxing, but I am Jai Fangxing now. To me, you are in the past. No matter what you say, I will not go with you. This was probably the first time anyone had ever refused him. Shen Ziyaji became angry from embarrassment. It seems giving you time to think things over has only made you more rebellious and forgotten how to be a virtuous wife. Whether your surname is Yi or Jai, you are coming back with me today. Men, escort the mistress into the car. The bodyguards behind him stepped forward, about to grab me and drag me to the car. Suddenly, a dozen men in black rushed out from the side and pinned the bodyguards to the ground. I was pulled into a warm embrace, smelling a familiar scent of nicotine. Cheng Yi put his arm around me and flicked the nearly finished cigarette butt at Shen Ziyaji, taunting, "Mr. Shen, kidnapping a woman in broad daylight. You've got some nerve." In an instant, a scorched black hole appeared on the custom-made suit worth nearly 1,000,000 yuan. Shen Ziyaji's face instantly turned cold. After recognizing Cheng Yi, he narrowed his eyes. The second young master of the Cheng family from Hong Kong, instead of obediently listening to your father and brother and going home to marry Yi Lingyu, what are you doing here? I only knew Cheng Yi was a rich kid, but I never imagined he was from that Cheng family in Hong Kong. If any family could rival the Shens, it would be the Chengs. No wonder Shen Ziyaji could endure such a great humiliation without lashing out. What a joke! A woman with an angel's face and a serpent's heart. I wouldn't dare marry her. I heard that after I rejected the marriage, she went after you? Even a pervert like you, who tattoos his ex-wife's favorite things onto another woman's wounds, didn't want her. I want her even less. Shen Ziyaji, you know to seek mutual consent when you're negotiating a business deal. How come when it comes to marriage, you're playing the forced love game? Fangxing has suffered so much with you all these years. She couldn't even sleep peacefully, afraid of touching one of your sensitive nerves and being punished again. She's finally free. Just do her a favor and let her go. Shen Ziyaji's gaze fell on my legs beneath my dress. The former tattoo was now just an uneven scar where it had been removed. For the first time, I saw a hint of regret in his eyes. He ignored Cheng Yi and stared only at my face. Fangxing, in the past, I was too lost in my obsession and neglected your companionship and sacrifices. If I tell you now that I will treat you well from now on, even if I can't forget Wanwen, I will never force you to do things you don't like again. You can wear whatever you want, do whatever you want. There will be no more forbidden zones for you in the Shen family. Are you willing to remarry me? I know you love me, as long as you. I cut him off coolly. Mr. Shen, you've misunderstood. I don't love you. Shen Ziyaji's eyes widened in disbelief. Impossible. My judgment has never been wrong. I couldn't help but laugh. Then this time, I'm afraid I'll have to disappoint you, Mr. Shen. I really don't love you. I stayed by your side only to save my adoptive mother and to repay the so-called life-saving grace of my cheap brother. Nothing more. A youthful crush doesn't have to become love. It was just a fleeting crush, and that's all it ever was. Cheng Yi had someone bring over a few plane tickets, stuffed them into Shen Ziyaji's suit pocket, and patted it mockingly. Mr. Shen, did you hear that? No thing more. A man like you, who makes billions in minutes, shouldn't waste your time in our small town. Consider the tickets my welcome gift. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. After a long silence, Shen Ziyaji gave me a deep look, then turned and got back into the car. After the car had moved a few meters, Shen Ao suddenly climbed out of the window. He didn't even care that his knee was bleeding from the fall. He ran towards me and threw himself into my arms. Mom, come back with us, please. I know why I look like you. I'm Mama Wanwen's child, but I'm your child too. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have listened to my auntie's provocations and made you sad. I overheard them the other day. My auntie and uncle were saying that she wanted to drive you away so she could marry Dad, and then find a way to kill me and have her own children. I was wrong about her. Mom, you're the only one who can explain my homework so I understand. Your cooking is the only food that tastes good to me. You're the only one who truly loves me. Dad and I have already kicked my auntie out. Please come back, okay? I really can't live without you. The more Shen Ao spoke, the redder his eyes became, until he was wailing, clinging to my leg and refusing to let go. Shen Ziyaji got out of the car and watched from a distance. Looking at Shen Ao, who was a mess of tears in my arms, I sighed softly in my heart. You're enjoying everything that should have been my mother's, so you have to pay the price. Expectation after expectation, disappointment after disappointment. Now that I finally heard the words I longed for, my heart felt nothing. I knelt down and gently wiped the tears from his face. Shen Ao, do you remember what I told you? When you hurt others, you must be prepared to face the consequences. When you hurt others, you must be prepared for the day you will be hurt yourself. You can curse me, you can hit me, and maybe I can let those things go. But you broke my heart, and now your own heart is broken. I can't do anything about that. You have to grow up. You have to understand that people must be responsible for their own actions. Actually, it's not entirely your fault. After all, I only provided an egg. I shouldn't have taken advantage of taking care of you for a few years and wishfully expected you to call me Mom. I have now corrected my mistake. You should correct yours too. Don't hurt others anymore. Go back. Shen Ao cried even louder, showing me the dart in his hand. Mom, I've already picked it up. Can you come back too, please? Dad really wants you back too. He redecorated that bedroom in all your favorite colors and styles. He even calls your name in his dreams. I glanced at Shen Ziyaji. He instinctively looked away, but his hand slowly clenched into a fist, betraying his nervousness. Feelings are truly strange. When I was there, he forbade me from stepping into the bedroom that belonged to him and Yiwan, and every night he called out Yiwan's name. Now that I was gone, he had become so devoted. I smiled and ruffled Shen Ao's hair one last time. Some things can be picked up again, but a heart can't. Go back. I wish you a healthy and happy life. Shen Ao wanted to say more, but Shen Ziyaji interrupted him. Shen Ao, come back. In the end, Shen Ao was afraid of his father. He looked back every 3 steps, reluctantly leaving. I knew that this farewell was final. We would never see each other again. From now on, our paths would diverge. We would each be well on our own. A few months later, on the night of the Kixi festival, Changyi called me to the rooftop to watch the stars. The moment the lanterns lining the streets lit up, brilliant fireworks suddenly bloomed in the night sky. Amidst the splendor, he suddenly took my hand, leaned close to my ear, his eyes filled with sincerity. Fangxing, I know you might not accept me right away, but I still want to tell you I like you. Every day, every year from now on, I will tell you that I like you, until the day I die. The dazzling fireworks painted the night sky with breathtaking colors. I gently squeezed his hand back and smiled. Then it's a promise.